Good morning, beautiful people. We have slid into the weekend. We've got a brand new week coming up ahead of us, and that is bright and beautiful. We are in the very beginning of a new month, so a lot of clean slate energy going on right now. I also think that on the whole, we've been working on ourselves a lot this year. I feel like, you know, this planetary shift that we're in is kind of a grinding. You know, it started back in the early 2020, and we've just kind of been getting things grinding. I mean, that's the only thing I keep coming back to. It's like, you know, polishing the coal into a diamond, or the, you know, creating the pearl in the oyster. It's been a constant grinding, and we've looked outside for answers, and I think we found out that they weren't there. And then we started having to look inside for answers. And if you've been following the planetary energy at all, it's been a lot of internal work the last few years. And I think that's appropriate, because we're trying to create a new world, a new planet, a new era, a new age, however you want to put that. And the only way to do that, I feel like you have to hit a certain level of frustration. You have to look everywhere for help, and then realize the help is inside you. And that's the only place it's going to come from. And if we all do that, then we all rise up together. And that's kind of a beautiful thing. I feel like with the planets, you know, next week, Jupiter is about to go retrograde. We have Mercury currently retrograde. Venus will go direct Sunday night. But after Jupiter goes retrograde, everything but Venus and Mars will be retrograde. Mercury is only going to be retrograde for about another week and a half. But that's a lot of retrograde energy. Now, I happen to actually be a person that likes retrograde energy, because the retrograde, to me, it's rest, rethink, reconfigure, redo. It's a chance to slow down and look at what you've done, at the work you've been doing, and, you know, reconfigure it. Does it need edits? Does it need to change? Does it need to be tweaked here or there? Or do you just need some rest? And then when everything's kind of back moving again, which won't be until, honestly, till the beginning of next year, then you can, you know, start moving forward again. I think the rest of this year is a lot about stop, take a breath, and look at what this year has meant to you. Look at what you've accomplished this year. Look at what you've succeeded at, but also look at what hasn't quite come together the way you wanted it to. And this is a really good time to be going over that stuff and plotting out next year. We still have 4 months of this year, but it's going to be a bit quieter just in the energy because of so many planets being retrograde. And of course, each planet is a different energy and affects a different area of your life. But again, I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to go deep into the astrology. If you want to learn astrology really well, I put a link in the description for Serious Joy, which is Chris Witecki's astrology. It's free on YouTube. He also has a paid version, but the free on YouTube once a week will teach you a lot. So I will put that down in the description as always. Oh my goodness, last week was a busy one for me. I hope you guys got through all that well. If you were at all affected by the hurricane, I pray you are well. I pray that you are recovering and that the skies are looking blue again for you. It wasn't too bad for us here, just a lot of rain. So it really wasn't too bad for us right where I'm at here. But this coming week, I'm going to put some new things in motion for myself. Not new things, but like old things. Kind of getting them going again, which I'm excited about. I was talking to a friend the other night about fear and in how many different ways it really plays a role in our lives in stopping us. I find, again, with astrology, Black Moon Lilith kind of represents our fears, and depending on where she is in the sky, different fears have more energy. And lately, I think the fears have been really circled around getting going with something. Can I do this? Can I really do this? She's about to change to a degree where it's like, you figured out you could do it, and you decided you'd do it, and now the fear is, oh God, am I going to be able to pull it off? I know I'm feeling that because this year I've gotten past a lot of fears with what I want to do, particularly with my YouTube channel. And now I'm like, I have this big grand vision. Can I pull it off? I've got this big grand vision. I've got all this support and love, and you know, now I have to question myself, can I pull it off? You know, but I think that's where faith in yourself obviously is the answer to that. That's something that needs to be fine-tuned along the way, because it's something we struggle with, having faith in ourselves, but that's always going to be the answer to your fear. You know, I used to, in one of the relationships I was in when I moved to Florida, he always used to go on about, I don't want to hurt you, I don't want to hurt you. And I'm just like, well, sadly, I guarantee you're going to hurt me. It doesn't really matter. That's what we do to one another. We hurt one another. We have broken pieces. They bash up against one another, whether we mean to or not. What matters is how you handle that on the other side. And I think it's the same thing when you're talking about just yourself, just having faith in yourself. You know, I guarantee you're going to trip. You're going to fall down. You know, it's going to happen. You're going to fail at something, but it's okay. It's okay as long as you get back up and you keep going. I'm going to go back to harping on the dream situation. When you have a clear picture in your heart, and I think that's one of the things we've really been working on with Venus in retrograde, which, like I said, is about to end. As I'm recording this, it will be done tomorrow night, as I'm recording this Saturday morning. And so Sunday night, she will station direct. And Venus retrograde, to me, is often a really beautiful time of the year. It can be a hard time because a lot of relationships end, or people come back into our lives and then we realize, oh, that was not a good move. A lot of mistakes were made. A lot of exes come back during Venus retrograde. Luckily, she only retrogrades every other year. But it can be a really emotional time because Venus represents our relationships and what we value and what we find beautiful, and fairness and judgment and money, and all of those things when Venus is in retrograde are kind of up for debate. It's like, where do we really want to land with this? But as we are sliding into the end, and as she was retrograde in Leo this year, Leo is all about our heart space. So this Venus retrograde was all about, where does your heart belong? What does your heart really want? And I just think that that was such a beautiful gift from God, to let us really take some time to ask ourselves the important questions. What do we really want? What does our heart want? Why are we here? And I think, again, going back to the shift, that is so well planned and timed. Venus doesn't retrograde in the same sign every year, and she hasn't retrograded completely in Leo, I think, since the 1800s. So in our lifetime, we had never seen a Venus retrograde entirely in the sign of our heart. Taking everything Venus, relationships, money, beauty, what we value, all creativity, all of that stuff, right back to our heart, and asking us, what does our heart want? And whether you knew that or not, that was probably going on in your life. And I think, going back to the shift, what's really exciting about that for me is, for those of us that did the work, you know, we're at this ascension point where we're going to take all of that. Venus is going to turn back on, and we're going to get to move forward and put some of that into action. And when we do that, we elevate. And as I've said many times previously, when we elevate the circle that we're in. You know, we have the people around us elevate. It ripples out, and things elevate, and people elevate, and people, you know, work a little harder and reach a little farther. And that's how we improve this world. You know, we're in this shift where we could end up in a dystopian future or a utopian future. And I highly recommend you don't accept dystopian. We need to be going for utopia. We need to be going for that. We need to be going for a place where we love one another, where we live in peace and freedom, and accept people and have grace for shortcomings. And kindness is real and everywhere. And if you fall down, there are like 12 hands that come out. Oh, do you need help? And it's okay to say, no, I'm going to do this myself. But it's also okay to grab a hand and say, yes, thank you for the help. Because the person there doesn't have a knife in their other hand. I'm sure we've all experienced that, you know? And I feel like as we evolve and as we're moving forward, I feel like we're becoming better people, or we certainly have the opportunity to become better people and to be optimistic and to be hopeful for the future. And that to me is everything. You know, here in America, we have about 10 months left of the shift. We have to clean up afterwards, but we have about 10 months more work to be done. You know, so I would highly suggest or recommend, or I don't know, both of those seem a little pious, but I'm just saying that for the next 10 months, pay attention. Pay attention to where you're being pushed, where you feel the need to break out or rise up or be more than. Don't let this shift beat you down and make you small, because that is what leads to the dystopian future. And we deserve more than that. You deserve more than that. You are a beautiful soul here with a heart mission. Don't let the world, the surroundings, the other people, don't let them make you small. Babe, you are beautiful. You are beautiful. And you should be a bright, shining light. And just keep going. Just keep walking, one foot in front of the other. And you become brighter every single day. And if you have a bad day, that's fine. Just get up the next day and shine again. Shine on, my beautiful. I love you. I'm going to call this one a day. I've got some new vlogs coming up very soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm trying to find a blend between my Disney and my weight loss vlog, because this weight loss is so important to me, and it's a part of my heart mission, and I'm not doing very well on it right now. So stay tuned for those vlogs, and stay tuned for more Good Morning Ohanas. I'm going to try to put them up just as often as I can, probably every other day, every couple of days, something like that for right now. And we will continue traveling this lovely journey together. I love you. Thank you for the love and support you give me. It touches my heart more than you'll ever know. Peace, beauty. Be well.